Some of my best memories from school come from seeing the teacher walk into the classroom pushing a heavy trolley with a big tube television and a VCR. As an EFL student growing up in Brazil with little access to content in English, there was something truly magical about knowing that there would be a video in the class. But now that videos are available everywhere, how can we take advantage of these resources to maximize learning and help our learners? I'm Rubens Heredia, one of your Pavilion ELT vloggers, and in this video I want to share with you 5 tips on how to use videos in your English lessons, be it a face-to-face or online setting. So come with me. Most of our learners nowadays do have access to more content in English than I did as a student. But still, there's something about the moving image that's just magical. Diana Balduco wrote a very interesting article on English Teaching Professional in which she shares some facts and figures about Generation Z, or those born between the late 1990s and early 2010s. According to her, 97% use video streaming in a typical week, and they watch at least 68 videos a day. 30% of Generation Z spend most time outside work watching streamed content. 63% spend 2 or more hours a day on YouTube, and 59% prefer YouTube to textbooks. Clearly, videos are not just an important resource, but the language that our students speak. Tip number 1. Use videos for a variety of purposes. We are probably used to the idea of using videos as a substitute for audio recordings in listening lessons. However, videos can be used in any type of lesson, and basically in any stage. In skills lessons, for example, videos can be used in the leading to introduce the topic and engage students, for listening or reading for gist to help students obtain general information, in listening or reading for detail to help students understand more specific information, and in speaking and writing tasks to provide a background for student output. If you're confused about why I'm including reading when talking about video, remember that some types of audiovisual communication rely heavily on written text to convey messages. If you type kinetic typography or animated text on YouTube, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Videos also belong in lessons that focus on systems such as grammar, vocabulary, functional language, and discourse. For example, they can be used again in the leading to introduce the topic and engage students, as part of the language presentation to show specific words or structures being used in context, in the language clarification to help students understand how language works, and in the controlled and freer practice to encourage the use of the target language. The aims of the lesson and of the stage will give you an indication of what type of video to use. And speaking of that, let's move on to tip number 2, use a range of types of video. Course books and other teaching materials usually have a lot of interesting activities using video. However, as audiovisual communication is everywhere, the resources we have to use in our lessons are basically infinite. Most of the videos we'll use in our lessons will fall into one of 3 categories: pedagogical videos, instructional videos, or authentic videos. Pedagogical videos are created for classroom purposes, like the ones available in course books and teacher resources websites. They usually display the target language in context, and the language is graded to a specific level. Instructional videos, on the other hand, they provide explicit explanations about the target language. You can find lots of them on YouTube channels and teacher resource websites. They usually contain visuals to illustrate the rules, pronunciation, etc., and they are very helpful for self-study and remedial work. Authentic materials, they are not created for classroom use, but for the general public. They are available basically everywhere, and they are more likely to be accessed by students outside the classroom, and they use real language, not graded to specific levels. All 3 types of video have their place in our classroom, and there are advantages and disadvantages to using each of them. The decision of what type of video to use will depend on your learner's profile and interests, as well as on the learning objectives. Tip number 3, ensure that there's a clear task at hand. In everyday life, our students come across videos in English for a number of different reasons: work, entertainment, pleasure, and in many of those, they actually have a choice of what video to watch. In the classroom, however, students often lack the same power to make decisions and might end up watching videos chosen by the teacher just because the teacher told them to, which is not really motivating, is it? That's why it is important for us to set a clear task before students watch the video, letting them know why they are watching it and what kind of information they should be paying attention to. If the task is not clear to students before they watch the video, it basically becomes a memory test. According to Michael Lewis and Jimmy Hill, students' motivation will almost always be better if they see the purpose of what they're doing. Teachers should be prepared to explain to the students what they are doing and why they are doing it. Tip number 4, use videos for remedial work and flipped lessons. Remember the instructional videos I mentioned earlier on, in which explanations of grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation are given? YouTube is full of videos like this. A simple search for present perfect will give you thousands of results of video that explain when it's used and how it is formed. Although they are probably not the best alternative to use during the lesson, where the live interaction with students can be more profitable, videos like these can be very helpful to students at home when they revise what they learned in class or try to understand things that were not very clear during the lesson. They're also a great source of material if you're thinking about flipping the lesson or sending materials for students to do at home before the lesson to maximize practice during the classroom time. And it turns out that not only can video be a more engaging type of material than written explanations, but they can also be more effective. According to Russell Stannard, we can make the flip more interesting by perhaps offering a variety of content for the students to access. A lot of the research would point to the use of images and sound as being the optimal way of presenting new information to students. I talked about flipped lessons in a previous video for Pavilion ELT, and there are lots of blog posts and articles on both modern English teacher and English teaching professional that deal with the topic. I'll include some links in the description below. Tip number 5, encourage students to create their own videos. Social media made video more easily accessible to students, but it also gave them an opportunity to become content creators. Most of our students nowadays are able to use some sort of digital tool to create videos, from Instagram to simple video editing tools, even something as simple as sending a video message on WhatsApp. As teachers, we can capitalize on those skills to design tasks that are not only motivating to learners, but that also resemble the type of content they already consume and produce. Here are some examples of tasks using videos that can be accomplished by most learners. Film and describe your favorite room in the house, a tour of your neighborhood, an Instagram story giving updates on your routine, a how-to video sharing a skill you have, a WhatsApp video to a friend, a review of a product, book, or film, a screencast tutorial on how to play an online game. If you were thinking that tasks involving video may end up giving us, teachers, extra work, remember that it is the student who should be doing it all. In the words of Jamie Caddy, as the teacher, it is our job to set up a video task, coordinate it, and provide support when necessary. However, it is the students who should have creative control of the planning, shooting, and editing stages. Making film is naturally collaborative, and the results are usually best when the teacher takes a back seat. Jamie Caddy, by the way, has a number of posts and videos that can inspire you on his website, his YouTube channel, and even in a book he wrote called Video Telling: YouTube Stories for the Classroom. If you're a subscriber of VT Professional, check out his series of articles on how to get students in front and behind the camera. I'll include the links in the description below. I hope these tips are useful to you and help you build the confidence to use videos in the classroom more often. Let me know how it goes. You can share your own tips and experience in the comment section below, or you can contact me on any social media at WhatIsELT. Keep experimenting and keep teaching.